Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, good afternoon in English time anyway. And as I promised you now, the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, Miss Victoria Regan. And you are the international ambassador for Arthur Murray Dance Studios, Inc.
Inc. International, Inc. That's right, Inc. Thank you, Martin. It's great. Yeah. It's great to be here, and it's a thrill to be on the microphone with you.
And how did you find your first few minutes behind the microphones?
You know, it's nerve-wracking because you're trying to see all the couples and get to know them. Some of them I haven't seen for quite a while, so it's very exciting, actually, very exciting.
Yeah, well, hopefully when we make the semi-final, we'll actually be able to see them and pick them out one at a time and say their names to everybody. So you'll learn all of the names a little bit later on, ladies and gentlemen. But first of all, what I thought would be interesting now is to just delve into this young lady's history, her background of dancing. And I mean, you actually started your life not as a ballroom dancer, but as a stage dancer.
Well, I started, at 5, the typical age that everybody starts dancing, tap, jazz, and ballet. So that's right. I started out with that, and I went to Atlanta when I was 20, I guess, and now I'm starting to talk about it. But we won't have to do that. I walked into an Arthur Murray studio thinking it was a performing arts studio. It wasn't. I was introduced to Arthur Murray studios, and hence, I think I was teaching that night, actually. They locked me in.
Teaching that night, that's pretty good advertising for a person. Yeah, well, and obviously that was a massive life-changing experience because that's where you met your husband.
I did, Frank Regan, I did. Within about 6 months, we started competing, came to England, came to Blackpool. I guess that was about in 1974, my first time here, and became U.S. champions, Canadian champions, and it's a North American 10, so it was a great run.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked earlier when we were on live on the air earlier about the different rhythms of American rhythms compared to the Latin American. How come you went for the international style Latin American?
Well, Frank he was very well known. He had danced with a former partner, and so he was already international Latin, and actually I'm very pleased because this is a long time. So many of my friends are here. Yeah. I started out with that. It was fantastic training. I considered it like taking ballet, actually. International style is very structured, very beautiful, and it was right up my alley, I have to say.
Yeah, indeed. But it wasn't quite everything you wanted because I think you said at 27, was it, that you went back to New York?
29, yeah, 29. Frank and I
a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, yes. Frank and I had completed our career together successfully, and I said, well, everybody told me it was too late, I would fail not to go. Why would I do that? So I did go at 29. That's when I met Peter Maxwell. He moved there also.
Yes, yeah.
And he wanted to pursue a ballroom company. He opened a ballroom company, and I auditioned. My first audition was 42nd Street, and I was fortunate to get it. So
yeah, and you got it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you never looked back for what, 9, 10 years?
Well, I was there 18 years.
Yeah. Wow.
18 years. But Peter and I did stay. We danced together. We did shows in between some of the films and Broadway shows, and we came back here. You reminded me, 1987.
Yeah, 87. Yes, I remember.
I couldn't quite remember the year, but it was 1987, and we were in the finals. That was a thrill.
Yeah, and then you've moved on now, and obviously, do you have your own studio, or do you teach?
I don't have my own studio. I've always traveled. When I did travel and coach, it's been for Arthur Murray's. I still do that, but now as the ambassador, I'm more of public relations and trying to help people.
And obviously I think that takes us very, very nicely into the Arthur Murray lifestyle, because the Arthur Murray studios, they're not really just about dancing. There's a whole family, isn't it, really?
It is. We call it the Arthur Murray family, and the lifestyle that you have when you walk in an Arthur Murray studio. When you walk in an Arthur Murray studio, it's open, friendly. I say we plan, organize, and individualize every person's life and socially what they're there for. If they're there to lose weight, to meet people, to just travel around the world, we have it. We plan it for them. Do everything for you.
So they go in wanting to learn to dance and come out with a completely new lifestyle.
Completely new lifestyle. They feel different, they look different, and it really is wonderful.
And it is quite a terrific thing, isn't it, really? I mean, they do travel all over the world. You've got competitions all over the world, all over America, of course, but all over the world as well. And that encouraged, aren't they, to do these show dance things and competitions?
We encourage it. We don't force it, but we encourage it. We have 13 events, international events, national and international events. We have showcases if they don't want to travel internationally or compete at a high level, but we do have all those levels, offer it, and we do encourage that because, of course, performing at any level gives confidence.
That's right. And I think that's something that you mentioned earlier about your own life, that dancing taught you that discipline that kept you going throughout the whole of your life?
I think it teaches you discipline and communication and,
Yes.
you know, making friends. If you're shy, you can still be very shy and be a fantastic performer.
Like me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm really shy, folks.
But a lot of people tell me they start out shy, but you know, this does change things.
Yes, it does. And I mean, moving on now with the lifestyle of the Arthur Murray, you say you don't insist that people do these competitions, but because obviously there are going to be more people that just love the camaraderie of the studios, isn't there?
That's right. They love that. They start with the love of that. They say, oh, I'm just interested in social dancing, which we offer beautifully. We're experts at that.
Yeah.
And then when they see everybody having a great time, wearing the costumes, cheering for each other, I must say they all become quite addicted.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, when you get that scenario in your studio where you've got a lot of people, they travel with each other, they compete with each other, they cheer each other on, it breeds a whole new friendship, doesn't it? A whole new load of friends that you'd never had before.
It does, and having said that, we have the studios all around the world, so if you travel to another country or another state, your lessons transfer, so they have the same syllabi, they have the same way of teaching, so it's really international.
Yeah, and I was very interested to read the franchise scenario about Arthur Murray. They insist that there's 2 ballrooms for different reasons. All of the other things like the reception areas, the
Chandeliers usually.
The chandeliers, well, yes. This is where I'm missing. Yeah. So anybody that wants to buy a spare chandelier from Blackpool, I think they have to take a couple out for these lights. But maybe they're a bit too big for the studios in America.
Some take it, but there are specifications for both franchisees, for staff, and for studios. So they're always very well architected. And
I was very interested to hear Lisa McGregor. Was it McGregor?
Yeah, McLegan.
McLegan, sorry, Lisa McLegan, talking about she would go around and look in cafe bars for people that have got the right approach to anybody to take them on
for staff members.
For staff, yeah.
You know, a lot of people advertise on different sites, but I do think the best way is to go to music theater, to dancers, or to cafes, because they're service-oriented people.
Yeah.
And they usually like people. They have a personality.
Yes.
Again, and that's the qualifications. Of course, loving or wanting to learn how to dance is
indeed,
important.
Indeed. Well, wanting to learn how to dance is the reason that I actually started, but I've yet to really develop or find Arthur Murray's system because there's not much in England, is there?
There's 3 studios, but we are expanding. We are expanding. They're here in London and one right outside of London, but we are looking to expand. So for all of you who
so anybody out there that actually just wants to start a studio and are out looking for some way forward business-wise, because the one beautiful thing about Arthur Murray, it is also a business, isn't it?
That's the focal point of we help with the dancing and the business end of it, which, you know, as dancers, we're not always completely business oriented, so these are the things that we really focus on to help everyone.
And there's plenty of training, isn't there? I mean, you do so many seminars and training sessions for all of your guys.
Yeah, you're well versed, Martin. You've done your research. Franchisee conventions, we have VIP conventions, we have staff and conventions. We have a lot of training for executive training, and for the dancers, for the professional dancers, we have it twice a year now, weekends. So we supply everything: the printed manuals, the videos for all kinds of training and operating a studio.
Right.
Everything.
It sounds really exciting, it really does, and I hope people out there are watching now and thinking, well, maybe I should do something about this, because if you want to, all you do, the first step is either to speak to Victoria, and what's your email address, Victoria?
Well, victoriaregan.com, R-E-G-A-N. You can go there and it'll take you to my email, or Arthur Murray, ideally arthurmurray.com, and you just click on the link that you're interested in, be it staff, franchisee, executive.
And then all of the details will be sent to you, and then you may even get Victoria knocking on your door to come and talk you through all of the systems.
Glad to help. Yes.
Well, at the moment, that's enough for us down here. We'll leave you with a few more adverts just before we go on to the next half of the Rising Star Ballroom Championships here at Blackpool. And we'll be on the air when it's the second round, the semi-final of the American Rhythms. So we'll see you in a few moments, folks.